viewers, it's time to get into the roadmap, the first one for 2025 for Train Sim World 5. As usual, I read these articles out to improve the accessibility of the information and to add my own spin on things, mainly to get it out to people who can't or won't go to the source. Welcome to the roadmap for Train Sim World 5, where we share insights into our progress on new content, updates and future announcements for developments from both our teams and a range of third-party partners. This is our first article of the year. We hope you all had a fantastic holiday season. If you're joining us for the first time, this roadmap is a monthly check-in that will begin the conversation between our team and all of our community to share what you can expect coming up this year for the title from both Dovetail and our external partner teams, including brand new announcements, updates and sneak peeks on our routes in development, as well as new ways for you to get involved with mastery rewards and upcoming events. Today, let's recap and summarise all the exciting reveals we got for over December from the whopping 18 add-ons we shared more details about and the fantastic announcement of Mattel's Thomas and Friends coming soon to Train Sim World. Our teams are staying active in community spaces to gather your feedback and reports to work towards addressing as many of these top-raised issues as quickly as we can. In this article, you'll also find a section updating you on our progress and development for key fixes coming to Train Sim World 5 and details about what you can expect from our next patch. I'm not sure if you guys can hear the noisy parrots outside or if the noise thing's getting rid of them, but if you can, there's a lot of them. Be sure to join us for our roadmap live stream tonight, which is just played, where you could ask your questions. Too late, but you can ask them here. Content up ahead. Felswich Ludwigsbahn Mannheim to Kaiserslautern, arriving January 30th, so release date is announced and not very far away. It's the very motion blurred image of one of the trains available from Kaiserslautern. The third of our DTT Direct Take a Ticket reveals is coming soon. Pfalzisch Ludwigsbahn is coming to Train Sim World on the 30th of January. There's been a lot of reveals and announcements over the last few weeks and months, so if you're still in a spin over all the forthcoming content for Train Sim World, here's where we're up to on Pfalzisch Ludwigsbahn. You can see there are 425 sitting in a station underneath a massive bridge. So far, we've talked about basic details during the Direct Take a Ticket segment, a brief update in the October roadmap, more detail than the 19th of December reveal. Mannheim Kaiserslautern is the first German route add-on to come to Train Sim World 5, covering an area to the south of Frankfurt with a host of familiar trains and rolling stock. The traffic is diverse, with both S-Bahn and ICE services represented across a route that features a hub of activity at Mannheim and open countryside out east towards Kaiserslautern. The route. You can see a large enclosed station. A historically important main line, the Pfalzisch Ludwigsbahn, was built in sections throughout the mid-1800s. The line originally terminated on the western side of the Rhine at Ludwigshafen, but was quickly extended over the eastern bank into Mannheim, followed eventually by the movement of the former station to create a seamless through line. The line has two distinct halves over 65 kilometres. Straight and level tracks rule the way between Mannheim and Neustadt, immediately after which the tone of the line changes completely. A wall of forest punctuates the start of tight curves and close-up valleys, the rails gradually making their way further west to Kaiserslautern. You can see a 185 and a 425 side by side here, one with freight. Mannheim Hauptbahnhof is the second largest traffic hub in southwestern Germany and hosts a variety of services from local S-Bahn to ICE. This reflects Mannheim's status as the second largest city in Baden-Württemberg. As trains depart Mannheim, they cross the state border between Baden-Württemberg and Rhineland-Palatinate. At the other end of the line is the historic and cultural town of Kaiserslautern near the Palatinate Forest. Along the way lie 14 intermediate stations, including Neustadt and Frankenstein, Falls station near to where the Schlossberg Tunnel passes under Frankenstein Castle. The trains. We can see the ever-present and much-loved or hated Dostos and 425. Included in Falschwitz Ludwigsbahn are 4 trains or locomotives that have been seen in previous Train Sim World add-ons, resulting in a busy and varied scene at some of the route's principal stations, as was the case in the early 2010s. Some of these trains have received updates and improvements over their previous versions in other Train Sim World routes. If you're new to German content in Train Sim World 5, this add-on offers a good opportunity to add a wide selection of rolling stock to your collection with the purchase of one route add-on. First up, there is the DBBR 425, which we can see here in a dull day in the rain. Running the bulk of the timetabled services is the DBBR 425 electric multiple unit, servicing S-Bahn passengers between Mannheim and Kaiserslautern. This EMU has worked over its previous versions with a number of simulation elements improved to the secondary air system, including air suspension and air-powered sanders. The EMU also comes in a red DB S-Bahn Rhine-Neckar livery to represent the area for this route add-on. DB BR 406 ICE 3M, and I have to say this train hates me. It really does. We can see it sitting here in a what appears to be a sunrise, slightly foggy. The DB BR 406 ICE 3M was first introduced to the Köln-Aachen route add-on, released way back in 2020. These high-speed trains, capable of 330 km an hour, are used widely across Germany and across borders into neighbouring countries such as France, Belgium and the Netherlands. You can see here an ICE 3M passing through a very blurry Ludwigs, and I can't read the rest of it, station. For Falschwitz Ludwigsbahn, this train has been improved to bring up the standards of the DBBR 403 ICE seen in Kassel-Wurzburg, with particular attention given to the way the train performs under braking. The DBBR 185 plus the SGG MRSS Zackens and Rouge T freight wagons. So we've seen all of those wagons before. This is the 185 locomotives, and we've seen those before. Working both passenger and freight trains is the DBBR 185, member of the Trax family. This electric locomotive is the most recent version seen in add-ons such as Salzburg-Rosenheim and S-Bahn Vorarlberg. DBBR 111 plus the Doppelstock coaches and cab car. You can see here an image of a DBBR 111 leading some Doppelstocks. For the classic attraction, the DBBR 111 from the recent Train Sim World 5 gameplay pack is included, featuring a variation to its pantograph. It utilises a tap changer control system with both manual and semi-automatic input, bringing a different style of operation to that seen on contemporary locomotives. Additional service layers. With a timetable depicting a variety of services from local to express and passenger to freight, players with other add-ons in their collection will be able to see AI and operate additional playable services along the route. You can see here a 928 going to Schifferstadt and another 425. These will include the DBBR 612 coming from Taranda Ramp, DBBR 628 coming from Didertobahn, and the DBBR 101 Loco add-on. Interestingly, they didn't mention the 928, which is sitting there. Interesting. I'll ask about that. Note the DBBR 101 layers substitutions come from the original DBBR 101 add-on. We'll provide a deeper dive into the timetable and its layers closer to release. We can see a rail pool. Is that a Vectron? Maybe? Cruising along, opposing a DBBR 111. A note for players on 8th generation consoles. Get a new one. After reviewing performance, we've amended the timetable to provide a suitable experience for those on Xbox One and PlayStation 4, and the timetable will feature a reduced number of services, i.e., you get less to make it work on your piece of 12-year-old junk. Go and get a new console. Train Sim World 5 Pulsewitch Ludwigsbahn Mannheim Kaiserslautern route add-on will release on the 30th of January for Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Epic Game Store and Steam for €35.99, £29.99 and $39.99 US. So that's probably around the $60 mark with our rather poor exchange rate that we have currently in Ausland. You can see here a DBBR 425 at Frankenstein. Season of Reveals recap. We hope you had a chance to enjoy all of our exciting new announcements in December as part of our holiday seasonal event. Today we want to recap all these upcoming add-ons for Train Sim World that are on the way, with the key information and details all in one place and a few bonus screenshots to gaze upon. Mittenwaldbahn Innsbruck Garnisch Partenkirchen from TSG, releasing in February. Starting off, we hope you're ready for the first backdated Austrian route coming to Train Sim World next month. We'll be traversing the steep mountainous railway of the Mittenwald Pass and heading cross-border between Austria and Germany. Set in 1989 with 15 stations to explore, over 63 kilometres of track. And we can see a four-wheeled freight wagon here, labelled Work in Progress. You can clearly see it has plains and very big mountains. No great surprise there for Austria. TSG have shared new screenshots with us in this roadmap for you to relish. It looks like a new kind of signal head, perhaps. This is a Innsbruck Hochbahnhof, with a large mountain sitting in behind it. Strap in and board the new OBB 1020 Crocodile locomotive in OBB Blood Orange livery, as well as the DB BR111 in DB Blue and Cream, and a range of passenger coaches and wagons. And a big building labelled Finkel. Seems fair. We see here the Crocodile locomotive, which looks pretty cool. I kind of wish it was the earlier version that had linked motion, but this one's still fun. It's a articulated locomotive, so the centre part is rigid, but the bogies under it move, and the actual end parts of the locomotive move around as well with the bogies, so it's quite an interesting locomotive to see moving. Work in progress shot of the blue and white livery. Coming for the Americans, who often complain they don't get any add-ons. Well, here's an add-on for you. The Metrolink F59PHR logo add-on. Next, we revealed a North American classic, the Metrolink F59PHR in its white livery. Hustling along the San Bernardino line or across the Antelope Valley line, this is a modern, rebuilt variant of the loco, identified by the R designation in its name, and you'll be able to get an alternative experience depending on where you decide to take it. This locomotive is actually not in service anymore, and they've gone off. Some have gone to Via Rail in Canada. Via or Go? Maybe Go. Might have been Go, actually. Might not be Via Rail. And the others have gone to Mexico. London Overground Mildmay line from Incredible Trains. We announced the new upcoming London Overground Mildmay line, Stratford to Williston Junction add-on, featuring a 12-mile section of North London, brought to you by our latest third-party solo developer, Incredible Trains. You can see a pair of 378s tooling along here. We've got a few new screenshots to share with you all today, including a first glimpse inside the Class 378 Capital Star that you will be operating. You can see here the work in progress shot inside the cab. It's not the driver's side, it's the other side. And please excuse the noise in the background from the person that knows I'm recording a video and is doing it anyway. Get ready for intense 8 train per hour gameplay featuring freight, traffic and AI on multiple main lines. I love the way that's spun as an intense 8 trains per hour. I would say that was a mediocre 8 trains per hour, personally. As for the scenery, expect to find iconic key landmarks such as the Olympic Park and the High Speed 1 tunnel entrance from the southeastern high speed route. In the screenshot here we can see another unit showing the London Overground branding. Discover new screenshots in the Season of Reveals week run summary thread and stay tuned for more news from our teams from when Mildmay will be arriving. And to answer the question that people keep asking all over the place, why doesn't it go all the way to Richmond? Because they only get 4 or 5 trains a day. That's why. It's not worth it. BR Class 86/2 and Mark 2F coaches from Just Trains. Another new announcement came from the Just Trains team, who unveiled their development on the Class 86/2 and Mark 2D coaches. We reached out to them for new screenshots since the reveal, and you can catch up on their recent dev blog. Just Trains says excellent progress is being made on the Class 86/2, and this latest in-development update covers the internal areas, in particular the differences between the Class 87.0 and the Class 86/2 cabs. So we can see a fairly grubby cab. We've got some red tape on the power handle there. So there's a few minor differences between it and the 87. Not huge, just little things. The general thinking is that the 86 and the 87 are basically the same, although it's not untrue in some areas. As normal, the devil is in the detail. We'll let the images do the talking, but for those who want more details, here they are. The 86.2 versus the 87.0. In the cab areas, there are 3 cab windscreens, many more screws, older style front panels with lifting handles, older style wiper switch, manual wiper washer valve, horn missing the driver's surround, additional driver safety device holdover button on the driver's side, bank of switches presented in one line, only one notch indicator gauge, vacuum brake pipe and chamber dual gauge, wiper motors, manual wiper handles, smaller driver and second man windscreen blinds, max speed 100 mph sticker, no parking brake operation panel, double armed wipers. So there you go, there's a few differences, and this is certainly different over here. The cab is quite grubby and well used, nicely weathered. Mid-cab, the area between the cab and the bulkhead, smaller partitions, missing vents on the partition ends. You see another view of the captain's chair, if you like, for driving the locomotive. Bulkhead areas, window in the bulkhead door, visible protection of line clips, electric shock post to move to the right-hand side, handbrake wheel, altered top equipment area, fire bell moved down from the top equipment area and now next to the door. 2 types of heating rings, small in cab 1 and large in cab 2. So this is the bulkhead that you can see here. And they've got the AWS equipment up here, change end levers and AWS on and off. And there's the fire alarm that they're talking about in the other model. It's up here on the right. East Coast Mainline Diesel Rail Tour packs from Athena Simulations. Athena Simulations are bringing us some brand new details for their East Coast Mainline Diesel Rail Tours pack for both the East Coast Mainline route and including timetables across TrainSim World 5 as a whole. Included are 3 iconic diesel locomotives with the British Rail Class 40 Whistler, Class 45 Peak and a brand new Class 47 47484 Isambard Kingdom Brunel. You can see that locomotive here. You can see the locomotive in the snow with some decent snow patterning across the hood and buffers and on the windows. The pack is rounded out with the inclusion of custom Mark I carriages in BR Blue, answering fan requests for these much-loved carriages with custom 3D modelling in BR Blue and grey liveries. Included in the pack are the BG, TSO, BSO and FK variants. You can see a selection of the rolling stock here sitting in a platform. And some unusual drawing, or lack of it, on the overhead stanchions there. A bit interesting. The iconic 47484 Isambard Kingdom Brunel will substitute into existing timetables for a wide range of routes, including timetable integration for West Coast Mainline Preston Carlisle and Blackpool branches Preston, Blackpool and Ormskirk routes from Just Trains. both natural homes for the Class 47. The loco, featured in its special edition livery, was often used on numerous rail tours and hauled the Royal train from its base at Old Oak Common Shed. The Athena team have recreated the variations in each cab end after the real locomotive was rebuilt from accidental damage. You see here 47484 in its yellow and green livery, with the Isambard Kingdom Brunel nameplate on the side. It's got a high intensity light on the front. The pack includes 10 scenarios with new features such as depot movements, the opportunity to run around your train, and coupling double-headed formations for very special rail tours along the East Coast Main Line. A range of AI services have been created for each of the scenarios, including layering of appropriate rolling stock from other UK routes. You can see a longer view of the coaches with their new livery and the 47484 locomotive. A new timetable update to Schnellfahrstrecke Köln-Aachen. Coming in with a complete rewrite from the ground up and boosting the total service count, an upcoming update is on the way to Köln-Aachen and will include new AI services, taking the original 552 in total all the way up to just over 4,000. You can see here a very busy station. This will be a free update for owners of Köln-Aachen route and includes new services you'll already be familiar with for the RE1, RE9, S-Bahn and ICE. Additionally, you'll be able to drive the RE8 and RB27 in both directions, and there are new diesel multiple unit services for the RB20 and RB38 run by the 642, as well as new IC, ICE1 and Flix train services between Köln Hauptbahnhof and Aachen Hauptbahnhof. You can see here Kermit the Train, Flix train. Manchester Airport commuter from Alan Thompson simulation. Explore 27 miles of track between Manchester Piccadilly and Alderley Edge coming from the ATS teams in Manchester Airport commuter. We can see a Airbus flying over the top of a 323. The route includes two key spines, a main line via Stockport and the Style line via Manchester Airport, converging at Wilmslow. Both branches offer busy commuter traffic into the heart of Manchester and recently formed of the BEE network. You can see a couple of the Avanti West Coast Pendolinos sitting here in a maintenance depot. Discover an improved Manchester Piccadilly featuring full station concourse, including fully explorable Metrolink and taxi rank areas. Also find multiple model depots along the route, including Ardwick, Longsight, Manchester International and Stockport sidings. Cargo Line Volume 3 and Volume 4 packs from Skyhook Games. As final reveal from Skyhook Games has provided us with a range of fresh screenshots for the upcoming Cargo Line Volume 3 and Volume 4 packs. These packs have previously added new liveries, detailed rolling stock and wagons, as well as brand new scenarios to routes in Train Sim World. And you can expect more of that to come in the upcoming add-ons. Sit back and enjoy the close-ups. Cargo Line Volume 3 Intermodal. You can see a close-up here of a container wagon. We see an action shot of some container trains or intermodals in the snow. Cargo Line Volume 4 Military. You can see a slightly more detailed shot of what appears to be a tank sitting on a KWA wagon. And we can see the jacks for stabilization of these wagons while the equipment's driven on and off. Both of these packs are moving towards final development and having beta tester feedback implemented before moving on to further testing. We'll be sure to check back in when they're closer to being released with new details on what you can expect. See all the Cargo Line screenshots shared from Skyhook in the Season of Reveal summary thread. Finally, we shared a final teaser of the Skyhook team. Most people think this is a DRS Class 20. New screenshots for the Great Western Express remaster. We shared more screenshots from the upcoming GWE remaster, coming right with additional details, coming from our game designer Liam, who worked closely on developing the West Somerset Railway remaster. And we can see Flying Scotsman running over a bridge with a boat below. No people in the boat though. Liam, conductor mode support for the HST and the Class 166 is now fully in, with players being able to play as the conductor by using the newly modelled guard panel on the Mark III coaches for HST services, along with rear cab guard controls for the Class 166. All stock found on both Great Western Express and diesel engines will also have working suspension, along with the latest weather effects, AI horns which you'll hear at points on the route, and revamped Todd 4 lighting. This include fixes to light leaks which could be found on some of the stock. You can see Flying Scotsman with a couple of the red coaches and a sneaky, what looks like probably a 47 hiding around the back there. New details for Tadami Line from Union Workshop. Now we interlude to the beautiful Tadami Line Aizu Wakamatsu Tadami route, where Union Workshop provided all new screenshots for the stunning scenery. Get ready for narrow gauge traction as you carry out local passenger service amongst the mountains. So we've seen these before. In this add-on you'll be operating the Kiha 40 diesel railcar, 88 kilometres of track, visiting 28 stations with Japanese signalling and safety systems, as well as native Japanese language support new to TrainSim World. I've got a screenshot of the Kiha 40. Let's get a screenshot of one of the stations. Cardiff City Network, Redher and Corryton to Penarth and Bay Did. Through the second week of our reveals, we announced the official title of Cardiff City Network, Redher Corryton to Penarth and Bay Did. This will be our first TSW Welsh route, a diesel-only experience across the heart of Cardiff Centre in Wales. And they're building a new Class 150 for this. It is not the one from West Coast Local. It is a new one. Dive right in with the new Transport for Wales BR Class 153 and the Transport for Wales BR Class 150/2, and across 20 miles of track, and enjoy a huge variety of gameplay compacted together with loads of stations to discover and plenty of shorter lines and interconnected services. There's a screenshot of the 153 in progress. BR Class 104 and Peak Forest expansion pack from SimTrack Studios. We've also got a bonus update to close off the week from SimTrack Studios, sharing a new in-development screenshot for their Covhop wagon as part of the Peak Forest expansion pack they have been working on. So it's another four-wheel wagon for the game. Santa Fe gameplay pack for Cajon Pass from High Iron Simulation, hearing more from the High Iron Simulations team on their upcoming Santa Fe gameplay pack for Cajon Pass route set in the early 1990s, to be taken to a time when Warbonnet Red and Silver and Striking Blue and Yellow AT and SF diesels powered heavy tonnage and hot intermodals across the legendary California Pass. Probably on fire. Got a work in progress of a wagon there. Will feature two Santa Fe locomotives, the SD40-2 in AT and SF's blue and yellow freight livery, and the powerful C40-8W dressed in the Warbonnet red and silver livery. I really hope they give that some better sound, because it's a bit awful in the existing version. These will reflect Santa Fe specific details, including the distinctive inset lower headlight of the rebuilt SD42s and the unique gull wing cag of the C40/8W diesels. Another shot of the hopper car. Upcoming Netherlands route, Spoorlijn Zwolle Groningen. A new country and a new challenge awaits you in Zwolle Groningen. You'll be getting your hands on two new highly iconic Dutch trains with the route. This is the first time we've heard about the second train, I think. Dashing between commuter towns with the modern NS SNG3 and peering over the raised cab of the uniquely shaped NS ICM Koplopla. Enjoy these in-development screenshots for the new loco. So this is the Koplopla. As for the route itself, we don't have any screenshots to share yet, but you can expect a twin-track electrified mainline running between two major cities, exploring the rural landscape of the Netherlands over a staggering 105 kilometres of track with 8 new stations to explore. This is inside the cab, or inside the passenger cabin area, I should say. Thomas and friends visit the West Somerset Railway, and hasn't this been contentious? I personally like Thomas. If you didn't catch it, we are delighted to announce Mattel's Thomas and Friends is coming to TrainSim World. The biggest questions in the roadmap is, will its eyes move? Will its faces articulate? Are there any other characters that are coming along with this? Are there any people characters? Same question for the Japanese route, actually. Were there going to be any uniquely Japanese people characters? There were not answers to those questions. In collaboration with our friends at Mattel, Thomas and Friends Visit the West Somerset Railway will be an add-on coming to Train Sim World 5 this year. Naturally, the star of the show is Thomas the Tank Engine, with his friends Annie and Clarabelle joining him. Adding an element of mischief is Diesel and the Troublesome Trucks. What will they get up to? Unlike previous add-ons, the gameplay here is entirely story-driven, with a fun narrative that follows the adventures of Thomas and his friends during their visit to the West Somerset Railway. Here we see Thomas at Dunster. Yes, there was an answer that Thomas will be available for free roam everywhere else. We'll talk further about this exciting release very soon, but as a brief summary, Thomas and Friends is coming to Train Sim World in 2025. Add-on will require Train Sim World 5 and the West Somerset Railway add-on. Train Sim World 5 was free until a few days ago, so if you didn't get it, oh well, tough titties. Characters: Thomas the Tank Engine, Annie, Clarabelle, Diesel and the Troublesome Trucks. Gameplay will consist of a multi-part story with a fun narrative. People asked if it was Ringo, there was no answer. Tutorials for Thomas and Diesel will exist in Training Centre. An additional timetable will feature the Thomas and Friends characters. The characters can be driven on any route add-on using free roam. To hear more about the collaboration, you can watch it in the Fireside chat. So if you haven't seen that, I'll pop in a link. Now, on to news that's fresh. Patches and updates. Over December, the teams were happy to release a large West Coast Mainline timetable improvements, major updates to the ScotRail Class 158 from Skyhook Games, along with many key bug fixes on the December the 10th and 17th patches. We have covered those before. Now, there is an acknowledgement there's performance issues and crashes that are happening, particularly on PS5. There was some discussion about that on the roadmap stream, and it's not happening on the development consoles, so they're trying to put some new features into the game to help understand what's going on. Our next patch to Train Sim World 5 will continue to focus on the stability of core routes, in particular to West Coast Mainline and Frankfurt Fulda, as well as any progress we've made from our investigations on saving memory and improving performance. Once we've got a full list of the changes ready, we'll share news about when you can expect this, but the aim we're working towards is an update later in the month. As our teams work to bring this update to you all, we shared a guide and some potential workarounds to key issues that may help prevent textures loading at lower resolution and crashes from happening. These should be most beneficial for those on console platforms, PlayStation and Xbox, who are having performance issues. We can't say for sure how much of an impact the following changes will have, but from initial testing, the teams have been able to avoid certain common crashes by following the guidance below. Potential workarounds. Weather. We found that many crashes seem to occur when dynamic weather is active in areas, especially in rainstorm or snowy conditions, where a high amount of memory is already being used, for example near Euston. We recommend using custom clear weather to help prevent crashes happening. Photo mode. Opening photo mode and taking photos when entering or around areas of high memory usage can also lead to a crash, so be aware that if you're lining up the perfect screenshot, be sure you've saved and prepared just in case. Display mode. Using 4K has been found to increase the likelihood of a crash, so please be mindful of this, and if you're experiencing a number of crashes, consider lowering this to HD, which is 1080. Custom liveries. You may find that turning off any custom liveries you have on your loco when driving will help prevent texture memory issues or crashes. Class 390 Pendolino. We've recently made some optimizations to the Class 350 in a November 17 update. However, we've not yet implemented optimizations for the Class 390. If you're still experiencing issues with performance after going through the above steps, it might be worth trying to use the Class 350 in the same area if that helps prevent issues or crashes. They did say in the stream that they finished reviewing the 390 and there won't be any optimizations because it's as optimal as it can get. Following some of these steps may be difficult when playing specific scenarios and modes, but we wanted to give you all the knowledge we have as we'll keep working hard to improve the experience as much as possible. Thank you for helping us identify these crashes. That's actually it for the roadmap itself. It goes off into a community thing and I'll do a separate video on that later on. So thank you very much for listening. If you've got any questions, pop them down below, and if I know the answers, and if indeed I'm allowed to tell you, I'll let you know. Alrighty, have fun folks. Thank you very much for going through this with me and going on the journey of the first roadmap for 2025 for Train Sim World 5. Enjoy yourselves, have fun now. See you later. Bye.
We played a game.